Hey everybody, it's LTM here. I'm at the middle of the neighborhood right now. I'm about to go pick up my friend, and we're about to go watch Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So before I let you guys off, I just want to say right now, I know DC hasn't been the best in terms of movies lately. A lot of people find them either mediocre or just bad in general. I think they're mostly okay. Shazam was okay, the second Shazam. I really liked The Flash and Blue Beetle. I know a lot of people aren't really into Aquaman because I saw the early reviews and I was like, I'm kind of debating on seeing that, but I was like, I want to give it a chance. I will say though, I do like the original Aquaman. I will say it's probably one of the best out of all the DCU movies. The first Aquaman was really good and probably the best one along with Shazam. I really wished, I do think that there is some problems with the original, but I think there's a lot to it. I think there is a really good movie. I remember really liking it a lot. When it comes to this one, now, the thing about this movie is that they've been trying to make this film for a while. It's been delayed so many times. There's been a lot of reshoots, production problems, stuff involving one of the actors. This movie's been in quite a development hell for the past couple years, so they've been trying to make this film, and they've been trying to release it even during the pandemic. Ever since the pandemic, they've been trying to release this. So there's been a lot of problems with this movie, which kind of anger me a little bit, because usually when a movie has so much development hell problems, sometimes you still get a good movie out of it, but a lot of times, yeah, they don't always end up being that great. But you can't blame the movie itself. I would just blame usually the people involved in it. But back on to what I was saying, I'm going into this movie with an open mind. I'm gonna hopefully that it's good. Trying to judge my own opinion on it. I could see how some people will be like, oh, it's Aquaman, it's gonna suck. But here's the thing: you want to make sure and go to this movie and try to get your own opinion on it. At this point, Rotten Tomatoes, I could really care less about and stuff like that, because honestly, I watched Five Nights at Freddy's and it got bad reviews, and I thought it was okay. But that's probably because I saw it on streaming, so that's why I wasn't really angry at it. So I didn't have to pay money to go see it. But still, I still want to give this movie a chance. And I'll give you all my thoughts when I come back. This is LTM, and I'll be right back. Hey everybody, it's LTM here. I'm back. Okay, I'm not technically back, but as far as this video goes, I edited it out, But yesterday, I went and saw Aquaman. So this was actually an adventure seeing this movie. So just to give you all a little bit of background. We originally thought about going to see this movie the week after Christmas because it's the busiest time of the year. But since everybody else has jobs, and of course it is the holidays, we went ahead and went to go see this film. So here we are, just going to watch this movie, and then all of a sudden, about halfway through the movie blacks out. Like, the movie pauses, and then it just turns off automatically. Everybody in the theater was freaking out. I was looking around, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I was one of the few people that went out to see what was going on, and then one of the employees was like, sorry, there was a blackout in Oak Ridge. We're going to rewind the movie just a little bit. If we're not able to rewind the movie or fix everything, we'll give you all refunds. Y'all can just come back another day. So when I got back in the theater, I was talking to the guys, and we're like, do you just want to go to a different screening, or do y'all just want to get refunds and just get out of here? And then they're like, well, we didn't want to pressure ourselves, so we didn't want to take the risk of just going another day. So we just wanted to try to finish the film the best we can. So we finally got to see Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And I just want to state for the record, that's pretty much how we got into going to this movie. I just want to state for the record that I know this movie is getting a lot of backlash right now, a lot of hate, somewhat hate. So just before I get into my real thoughts real quick, I actually do like the first Aquaman. I don't think it's one of my favorite films or anything, or my favorite superhero films, but as far as the DCU goes, I would say the first Aquaman is probably the best DCU film we've gotten ever. So, with all that being said, the sequel, they've been trying to make this film for a while. Just like I mentioned before in the beginning of this video, they've been trying to make this for a while. The movie had a really rough production, whether it be the unnecessary reshoots, to the one of the actors controversy. I'm talking about the stuff with Johnny Depp and stuff. I forgot her name. let's see, the reshoots, the stuff of James Wan focusing more on his Conjuring films, the Warner Brothers and all its crap that's going on back at Warner Brothers. There's been a lot of chaos around this movie. So this movie had a rough production and everybody was just kind of winging it and really hoping that this film would get released. Constant delays as well, because this movie's been delayed since like COVID. So here I am now, finally saw Aquaman the Lost Kingdom. So I wanted to despise this movie just because of all the production trouble it had. But honestly, with all the hate that this is getting, I don't think it's as bad as you all think. Now, I want to say for the record, the movie's not technically good. It's not objectively good, but it's not terrible either. I am straight down the middle with this movie. Okay, so Aquaman is a father now. He's the king of Atlantis. He's a father now. And he's basically, he's spending some time with his dad a little bit. But then Black Manta, I think was his name, the villain from the first film, comes back. And basically he just wants to kill Aquaman and get revenge on him. And Aquaman finds out that he has like a brother or something like that. That he ends up his long lost brother, who teams up with him to stop Black Manta. And not to mention his son, Aquaman's son, getting kidnapped. And that's pretty much the whole movie. There's not really much. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon. There's nothing that goes on in this movie. And the whole purpose of it is just this bright and colorful action film with no really big story going on. So with all that being said, the movie, there's no story or character development with this movie. And the movie just has like this really out of this place attitude that felt very unnecessary, like a lot of superhero films are recently. However, while the story and the characters aren't really great or not objectively good, there is some good things in this movie, like the visuals. The underwater stuff looks fantastic. I will admit that half of the time it did remind me of movies like Avatar: The Way of Water, which Avatar: The Way of Water did a much better job with the underwater stuff. But Aquaman's a close second because I think it does a great job with the Lost Kingdom and the Atlantic world. They did a great job with the underwater stuff. The acting's pretty good. The guy who plays Aquaman just kind of fits this character. I like it. Even though he does seem like a Thor ripoff, you could tell he's really trying to add his own identity or try his own personality to it. The acting for the most part's pretty good. The best moments and the most heartwarming moments are when Aquaman is usually with his father and them talking. They're like some of the most heartwarming moments, and they're mostly in the beginning, and they don't last long, but they're pretty nice scenes, and they work pretty well with that. You can tell that the people working on this had the best of intentions. I think this whole movie just kind of went haywire once the production problems went in. And you could tell by that because some of the acting, as good as it is, you could tell some of the acting, mostly from Aquaman's character, you could tell that there's parts where he's like, okay, what am I doing here? Why is this happening? And a lot of moments, there are some pretty stupid moments in it. And like I said, not everything works in this film. The CGI on some of the fish are a little off, especially like this Jabba the Hutt king, the king of the Lost Kingdom or something like that. He's like this Jabba the Hutt fish, sort of fish. It kind of has a weird design, and it just didn't fit, honestly. But with that said, the action scenes are pretty good for the most part. The acting's pretty good. The story I didn't really care much about, honestly, because like I said, this is basically just every typical underwater sea creature adventure story. Not really interesting. I do like the chemistry between Aquaman and his long lost brother. I think they have good chemistry with each other. Like I said, the stuff with his father is pretty good, and it just didn't work. I feel like maybe this movie took some more time to get used to. If the movie had a few more rewrites here and there, or if the movie was self-aware enough, kind of like Deadpool in a sort of sense, I think it would have worked better. Then I don't know. I thought it was okay, and there are worse superhero movies out there, and there are worse DC films. I'll take this over something like, say, Black Adam, or the first Suicide Squad, or Batman vs. Superman, or even the first Justice League, the original Justice League cut. I'll take this movie over those any day. It's just, I wish this movie could have been a little bit better, and I could see how someone wouldn't like this movie. Though I don't see this as one of those movies where it should be raged upon either, because there is, like I said, there is problems with the movie. But overall, Aquaman the Lost Kingdom is just kind of here, honestly. It exists. We have it. The best way for me to recommend this is that I thought if you really, really want to like this movie, I say hey, get some low expectations. Or if you have morbid curiosity, or if you like, I guess if you really like the first movie, you might like this. Though if you're expecting a lot more, or you're just one of those people that really wants a really good story with a good superhero film, this will not dig you out. But if you're very curious, the movie's out in theaters right now. I don't expect this movie to do very well because a lot of people say it hasn't. This and Wonka may end up being the big bombs of the month. Well, Wonka may end up doing much better because it's already went past its budget. But in terms of Aquaman, yeah. And judging by the budget it has, it's unlikely it's not going to be a big hit. But who knows? It's one of those things where Warner Brothers really needs to slow it down, man. Because Warner Brothers and Disney, they're screwing up big time. Whether it be the budgets or the production costs of these movies, they need to slow it down or start figuring stuff out because they've had a pretty rough year this year. Even Warner Brothers, when they had Barbie, I mean, seriously, that's the only big hit that Warner Brothers has had this year, and everything else has just been mediocre or terrible. So, I don't know. All right, guys, that was Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. What's your favorite DCU movie? Please subscribe, comment below, let me know. This is LTM, and I hope you all have a Merry Christmas.